when do you consider the design or MVP complete? This question can have two different scenarios. One of them is when it's being asked about the conceptualization stage, where you just devise some first MVP, some first design for something, or they can be asking about when something is already released and how long to invest in it. Let's start with the first case. In this regard, it's a very difficult choice because you need to create something that will be released at the perfect stage. What do I mean by that? Well, if you work on a design or an MVP for too long, then you are late to the party. Your competitors might be first. You, at the very least, the very best case scenario, lost some kind of value that users could bring, and you could have brought that to the users with the earlier release when it was actually ready. However, if you release something half-baked, not ready, you will also lose because the design or the MVP won't be able to prove your impact hypothesis. You will get nothing but angry and disappointed users, stakeholders, and teams. So when is the best time to release? What's the definition of done here? That is something you need to figure out with your designers and the team, because you are not all-knowing. You have to find a definition of MVP that your team can work behind when they won't feel or be afraid that a bad, incomplete solution to the problem is being released. At the same time, you can't have a situation where you commit to work that will take ages to complete. MVP is still an MVP and a design can be improved upon. So make sure to create a meeting and then produce requirements for the design or MVP that will be universally agreed on and follow that. Obviously, make sure to have some kind of check-ins, milestones, if you will, that you check up on the MVP design and see if it's shaping up what it was supposed to become. You can do it in a wider audience so that during the review session after each sprint, you look at the design or MVP as it stands and perhaps then find a version of it that is universally agreed by the crowd that it's the right thing to release. It's the one that will bring you the value you need. Alternatively, you can devise a few proposals for the design and MVP and then run it by user research or product discovery. However, the gist of it is to create an early draft and run it by potential future users to have some kind of idea what will consist of a complete MVP or design. However, the other option here is that you are being asked on how long do you continue on working on a feature or a product once it is released, and that goes for an MVP and a design. My answer here is as long as the prioritization tells you that you can get significant or noticeable value out of it. You will have the whole backlog of other projects you can look into, and as long as the MVP or design you have released is on top of that prioritization, you keep working on it. It's not even the case of searching for the full completeness. Just like the backlog, the design and the product is never complete. There are always angles to explore, and it's always mostly a matter of prioritization and finding the best thing to work on at any given moment. So funny enough, you can say that the answer here is that there is no such point where an MVP or design is complete, at least when it comes to ongoing improvement work. It is that you have to settle on something at some point when you are doing the first iteration before you release it, but once it's released, it's See you in the next question.